New at noon, an 87-year-old Hindsville man is dead after a crash in Madison County. Arkansas State Police say James Anderson was driving on 412 last Wednesday when he attempted to turn onto a county road. State Police say Anderson failed to yield to an oncoming Freightliner and his vehicle was hit, and he has died as a result of that crash. A man is dead in Poto after police say his wife shot and killed him. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation says Poto police were called to that home on South Earl Street just before 1 o'clock Sunday morning for a welfare check. Officers found 53-year-old Kirk Plepla dead from a gunshot wound. Investigators say his wife, 53-year-old Molly Plepla, shot and killed him. She was booked into the LaFleur County Jail for first-degree murder. This investigation is ongoing. A 37-year-old man is facing 7 counts of video voyeurism after Fayetteville police have arrested him Friday. Washington County booking records show Chaz Blaze was booked August 21st and was released the next day. This case is set to be heard in Fayetteville District Court in October. An Arkansas State Police corporal has resigned after he was charged with DWI on Friday night. Police say 45-year-old John Parker caused a single vehicle crash while he was on duty in his ASP vehicle near Monticello. Investigators say Walker was not hurt in the crash, but field sobriety tests showed that he was impaired. How public schools closed today after a possible threat was reported on Sunday night. Superintendent Scott Park says the school district learned about that threat around 9:30 last night. Mark says they do not believe the threat is credible, but classes are canceled today as law enforcement is looking into it. He expects classes to resume tomorrow. The district will decide later today whether after-school activities and athletics events will go on as planned. The district is asking people not to share unconfirmed information on social media while the investigation continues. President Trump is threatening even more tariffs against trade partner Canada, saying next year tariffs on all Canadian cars, trucks, and car parts will be increased to 50%. Comes as the rift between the two countries widened this week. Natalie Brand has the details from the White House.
U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer blamed Canada for letting a trade deal unravel in the 11th hour.
We're just moving forward with our trade policy as intended.
New 50% tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Canadian goods took effect over the weekend, including on agricultural products, Canadian liquor, and lumber. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney called it an attack and promised retaliation.
Canada will match Washington's new tariffs dollar for dollar in order to protect Canadian workers, farmers, families, and businesses.
The Trump administration is trying to downplay the impact to small businesses.
The vast majority of goods that our small businesses trade in are made in the USA or they're duty-free. So this is something where we don't actually expect a huge impact.
The White House is also facing intense pushback from farmers for a plan to temporarily scrap tariffs on more than 660 million pounds of ground beef imports to be sold 25% below market prices.
Republican lawmakers who represent cattle ranchers say it will hurt U.S. producers. But President Trump says it will lower grocery bills.
Beef is now coming down very rapidly, you see that? And as soon as we're finished with the Islamic Republic of Iran, as soon as we're finished, oil is going to be down at lower than it was even just a little while ago.
Today, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will unveil what the administration has called Economic D-Day for Iran, which is expected to include sanctions on countries that do business with Tehran. Bessent wrote in the Financial Times, any nation that serves as a financial artery of a withering regime should expect to share in its isolation. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Today, the Democratic Party of Benton County says it plans to nominate a candidate for a special election to fill the rest of the House District 8 term. Former State Representative Austin McCollum resigned from the seat earlier this month after his arrest. The Democratic Party special convention starts at 6:30 tonight at the headquarters in Rogers. Meanwhile, the Benton County Republican Committee has nominated Kara Armas. The winner in the November election would only serve until January. That's when Brian Armas is set to take over that seat. Voters in Oklahoma will have several decisions to make at the polls Tuesday, including the Republican primary runoff for governor. And for those living in LaFleur County, there will be a special school bond question. Voters in Howell will decide whether to put more money toward a new high school that is already about 80% complete. The district is asking voters to approve a $685,000 bond to help finish the next phase of construction.
So it's a $685,000 proposal. It's presented as a no tax increase because it's basically capitalizing on bonds that are due to roll off.
Superintendent Scott Parks says the money would help finish classrooms and other parts of the school. He says the larger building will reduce class size and give the district room to grow. The Arkansas Department of Transportation is using AI-equipped cameras in interstate work zones to detect drivers who are using handheld cell phones and speeding. RDOT implemented these speeding cameras in 2023 and added cell phone detection in January. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach shares an update on the camera's impact.
The cameras are currently in 2 work zones in Arkansas, one in Cabot and one here in Fayetteville off of I-49 on the MLK Jr. exit. RDOT says that work zones continue to be some of the most dangerous areas in Arkansas roadways. 7 construction workers were killed in Arkansas in 2025. As for enforcement in these zones, it's all handled by Arkansas Highway Police. Officers monitor violations in real time from computers inside their cruisers. If a driver is speeding or on their phone through the zone, officers will know right away, and they may pull that person over at the end of the work zone and issue them either a warning or a ticket. RDOT says they've written more than 1,000 warnings and hundreds of citations since the beginning of the year.
I think sometimes people see the signage that say camera monitored and they're wondering, is there a police officer actually here? And we do have people working those zones every day. And they're mostly writing warnings because, again, this is not meant to be a gotcha operation. We just want to let people know, hey, what you're doing is not right.
RDOT says the goal is to keep both construction workers and drivers safe. Speeding and cell phone usage continue to be 2 of the main causes of crashes along Arkansas highways. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Thank you, Claire. Today, the city of Centerton will share the final draft of its downtown plan. There is a public presentation that's set for 6 o'clock tonight at the city's municipal complex. City says the plan aims to create a new town center south of Centerton Boulevard, improve walkability, add gathering spaces, and more. The city is partnering with the NWA chapter of the Urban Land Institute for this project. Well, the Hog-Eye Marathon is no longer going to be offering the 26.2-mile distance race in 2027. This annual event has been bringing runners to Springdale for 50 years, and until now, it was the longest running marathon in the state. The race organizers say they will still offer the half marathon, the 10K, the 5K, 2-person relay, and the 1-mile fun run. They say this change will allow them to focus on creating the strongest possible event while continuing to support Northwest Arkansas. Arkansas Music Week is in full swing. To kick things off, School of Rock Northwest Arkansas held a showcase for musicians of all ages to close out its summer program. The week-long event celebrates Fayetteville's long-standing role in Arkansas music history. The showcase saw musicians of all ages playing songs from artists like Weezer, No Doubt, and Journey. Eric Watson with the School of Rock says watching students want to learn is one of his favorite parts of teaching.
It's what drives me every single day. I mean, I grew up wanting to do this, wanting to have this whole thing whenever I was a kid, and now I get to provide that for other students of all ages, as well as, like I said, adults. So it's not just little kids that we teach, it's everyone.
There will be more than 40 events tied to Arkansas Music Week, including more live music showcases, industry workshops, gallery exhibits, and some special programming.